Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my Paleozoic frog deck profile. So I took this to the case tournament at my locals and I got second place. So actually we split for top four and then I played for like the promo because they had two promos, so we played for one of them. So yeah, and then I just scooped up like the final, but so technically this could have been first place depending on however you look at it, but we'll get into it anyways. So 3 copies of Swap Frog. Obviously he's a good boy. I don't think there's anything much to say about like the general frog engine. It's like 3 dupe frog as well and the 2 run-in. So yeah, a little bit of a different take on this. I decided to play the Red Eyes fusion package, so obviously like the Red Eyes fusion, the targets for it to make Dragoon. I figured my thought process on this deck build, this deck list was whenever you see Swap Frog, you typically win the game. But he's only a 3 of, and you know it's pretty rare that you see him in your matches. So typically you have to like stall for him and stuff like that. And I also figured that if I could back up a Dragoon with like 4 traps, then I could just win the game as well. So that was my thought process. So technically playing 6 copies of Swamp Frog, I mean, not like actually, but Dragoon's kind of like a toad in like the sense that it negates and kind of wins you the game. So that was like the idea, but it worked out pretty well, honestly. For hand traps, we played 3 Ash and 3 Impermanents in the main. I wasn't sure exactly what to play. I probably shouldn't have played Ash because a lot of people are playing Triple Tactics Talent, and I kind of played into it pretty hard, although like Toad does play into Triple Tactics as well, so does Dragoon. I don't know. I don't think that this was exactly the best choice. I feel like something else would have been better. Definitely like a Lancia. I definitely misplayed on my, or not misplayed, but like I built my deck wrong. I didn't put Lancia on my list, and I definitely should have, but we'll get into that later. So for the Paleo cards, we play 3 Dino Mistress, the Vanish, 3 Canadian, which is the Book of Moon, 2 of Morella, which is the Foolish Goods, and 2 of Olenoides, which is the Dust Tornado. So I felt like these ones were not, they were good, they were worth playing, but they were only good in like playing 2 of, because typically I only want to see 1 per game. Typically, and I can trap trick for them since there's 2 copies of each. Dynamiscus, I don't mind seeing multiple copies of it because it's a really good card. Then trap tricks to set all of the Paleos. There was no other normal traps I played in my deck, so outside of Impermanence, obviously, so I don't think that there was too much of a reason to play 3 of, especially because trap trick turns off your traps for the rest of the turn. I played 1 Metaverse into a Mystic Mine. So I never saw Metaverse. I felt like it would have been at least like decent. I saw Mystic Mine once or twice, and it's a good card. Baits out negates at least. 3 copies of Solemn Judgment in the main deck, as well as 3 copies of Solemn Strike. So I felt like these were just really good in the main. I wanted to put these in the side actually, but I had a lot of space in my side deck, so I decided to main these. And yeah. Then for other trap-trickable cards, we have 2 copies of Crackdown. I might have played a 3rd one. I just don't have a secret prismatic, so I just didn't want to. Same thing with Gozen, actually. I have a playset. I just don't know where it is, so I might have like fit a 3rd one in, but I could only find 2, so I only played 2. And the last one was Imperial Order. So you can mess around with these ratios as you see, but I think that honestly this was like pretty good. I don't really have too many complaints with the list, the main deck list at least. Moving on into the extra deck. 2 copies of Toad, semi-limited, so you can only play 2, and then 1 Dragoon, so this is like the 3rd replacement Toad. That's like, yeah, basically. 1 copy of Anomalocaris, 1 copy of Opabina. You only need 1 of each. I never summoned this tournament, but I know if I take them out, I'll miss them. So I feel like they're always worth considering playing, or at least playing 1 of each. Then for, I do play Waking the Dragon in the side deck, so I play an Ultifalc and a Majestic Star Dragon. These never came up, but if I didn't have them, then it would have been pretty good, actually. This should be a Last Warrior from Another Planet. I just don't have one, so that's why that is there. 1 copy of Mistar Boy, so when you're locked into waters off of Gozen match, you can still make this and kill your opponent. That's like the idea. 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Phoenix, and these are like just the utility cards. This is mostly to out the Nibiru token you give your opponent, because I sided Nibiru. That's about it. And then other utility link 2s. A lot of people don't play these. I play Akashic and Security Dragon. A lot of people don't remember Akashic as a card, so you put this and then bounce the cards of points to. It's pretty good. Same thing with Security Dragon. You just put it under, and then you can bounce another card as well. And then you can potentially search off of Akashic since it excavates to search. It doesn't come up very often. It doesn't hit very much, but you can mill paleo cards, which is pretty good. We play a Verte Anaconda, so you can actually make Dragoon going first if you draw a swap frog and 2 frogs. You can actually make Verte Anaconda, so you can make Dragoon Toad and pass your turn. Never came up in this tournament, but did come up in testing, so I felt like it was worth including just the 1 copy, and it was fine. 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn. This never came up, but it's a good link 3, so. And then the last card is 1 Burlesword Dragon. This could be Access Code Talker, but I don't have one. I'm not sure if it's worth it to play Access Code though, because with Access Code in this deck, it's not enough damage, because Access Code would be at 53 if you make the Unicorn, and then Toad would bring it up to 75, whereas in this case, it's 82. So it's more damage with the Burlesword, so I don't know if it's actually worth it to play Access Code. I haven't tested with it yet, because I don't own one. But the Burlesword works just fine, so I don't have a reason to buy an Access Code for this deck. Side deck, we play 3 copies of Gameciel, the Sea Turtle Kaiju, just a card to out Dragoon pretty much. This conflicts with Gozen Match, which came up quite often actually, and I did not like that, but I still felt like it was worth playing. I might keep it in, I might try something else like a Sphere Mode, I don't know. 3 copies in Nibiru. I think this definitely should have been Lancia because there was a lot of Dino players, and Dinos do not care about Nibiru. So they do care about Lancia though, which this is what this should have been, because I definitely had a hard time figuring out what I wanted to side against Dinos. But I definitely think that should have been Lancia. I did win the majority of my Dino matches. I think I played against 3... I played against Dinos 4 times and won 3 of them, so at least gives you a good idea of how well I did. 3 copies of Evenly Matched. I don't think there's much to say about that. 2 copies of Waking the Dragon. So this is for when you go first, or I guess if you go second, sometimes you can side it in. But mostly when you go first and you just set a 4 back row and pass. If you set Trap Trick, you can Trap Trick into this if they hit you with a Lightning Storm or a Feather Duster. So it actually happened to at the event. So I set 2 back row, 2 or 3 back row. He Lightning Stormed me, Colleague Speller Traps. I flip Trap Trick, set this to my field, and then it's obviously set, it's destroyed, and then you can special summon something from your extra deck. He ashed it, unfortunately, but it was at least good on my part. And I still ended up winning the game, even though he had Feather Duster as well, so it's a pretty crazy game. We've also played 1 copy of Pinkertops. I think this is just a really good card, just stand alone, just to break boards as much as it can. And then for the last card we played was 3 copies of Heavy Storm Duster in case if I play against another control deck. So that does it for the entire deck profile. I don't think there's much else to say about that. So yeah, it was pretty good. 2nd place overall. I won a box, and it was a lot of fun. So with all that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.